Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 91 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. We've been talking about episode 100 for like a long
That's what
time.
I'm saying. It's going to come quick now that
It's
we're
coming
weekly.
quick now
Yeah.
because you're doing it weekly.
Man, what do we
I
even
thought we had
do?
more time.
I mean, we gotta do like a giveaway of some sort, right?
I think so.
We'll do something.
Yeah, I think it's got to be beyond hats and pins, though. I mean, I think for the 100th episode, we might actually have to spend some money here.
We'd have to do something.
What would people want? That's the real question. You know, forget about even our clothing, but like, so what would you want?
You want a messenger tote. That's what you want.
You want a messenger tote.
That's true.
What were some of the things that we were looking at to put our name on?
We need the
umbrellas.
cooling cloths. We definitely need those.
The cooling cloth.
Yeah.
I need a bucket hat. We have a list of
Bucket
stuff.
hat. Yeah. Well, apparently we can't get our Jungle Cruise hat because it's selling out every 5 seconds. Apparently.
Yeah. I'll take a bucket hat. But see, we have to rely on Tom for all this stuff, so it's at Tom's whim.
I like for us to figure out, for sure that this is what we want to do before we do it. So that's. I'm just careful with.
I think cooling towels. Listen, you need a gatekeeper to the funds. That's without a doubt.
Yeah.
I just feel like a cooling towel because the problem with the cooling towel is they're not expensive, but the minimum is so high they're expensive. That's the problem.
Exactly.
We get 50 or 100 cooling towels would be great, but I think we have to order like 400.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot, and that's the only problem. Is I don't even know if we could give out that many. I don't even know how many people use cooling towels. I don't know.
Oh, I use them a lot, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't own a cooling towel. I've never brought one to the parks with me or anything, so I don't know. Maybe I should.
I think it's a lot for that, and then just a lot like people that exercise will use them. Like I know for us, like if we go out and play basketball, we bring them, throw them in the. What we actually do is like so. We went to go play basketball yesterday, throw a bunch of waters in the cooler with a few cooling towels in the cooler, right? So they get a little wet cool, and then you just use them kind of to clean up after sports. I take them mountain biking, things like that. I mean, if we had our 5-mile scooter push, like we would need them for that. 26-mile scooter
26 miles. Yeah, I was going to say, it was longer than that.
Yeah.
5 sounds good.
Actually, 5. 5 sounds good to me. You didn't ask the question, Damon, by the way. You didn't ask the question that you've been asking.
I don't need to because it's supposedly this episode, I thought.
Maybe. I'm not going to promise that, but yes, we might have a new one this way.
Come on, man.
It's also a new closing too. It's not just the opening, and it's also the closer. So, not that I don't know how many people actually make it that far. I don't know how many people just tune us out once Trevor starts like doing the wrap up. And truthfully, you should stick around to the end because we get super silly at the end. So
Yeah. It never goes as planned.
No. If you're not staying all the way to the ending music, you're missing out on some funny things that happen. So, all right. Well, you guys want to go ahead and get started? You want to talk about anything else before we get into it here?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right. Well, there's no good way to really talk about this topic, and I would feel remiss if we didn't bring this up, and it's really a very sad thing. And I'm sure a lot of you saw this news because this just happened. Friday night, I think, where Chadwick Boseman, the actor that played Black Panther, passed away at 43 years old. Very, very sad. He was, really good guy for the community, and also just a lot of kids really looked up to him. And it was a great movie too. I know, a lot of people really love that one. So that's really, really a sad way to start the show. But I mean, it's also something we should bring up. So
yeah, and I hate cancer so much. I just want to say that I've had enough dealings with it that, yeah. And also to point out, he actually had been fighting cancer through the filming of Black Panther. So, I mean,
which is incredible.
Yeah. He really, dealt with a lot while he was doing that. So yeah, it's very, very sad news, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, nobody really knew about it either. So, I mean, I literally, a friend told me and I was like, no, that's not true. What are you talking about? Died from cancer. I didn't. I mean, I thought maybe I just had missed something, that this was common knowledge, and and it just, I maybe missed that, but it just was so shocking. And so,
he kept it very well hidden.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but, we try to talk about happy things, but so, this is definitely a sad thing. And, so let's talk about some happy things. We'll move on to some listener questions and talk about some different things here. So Damon had posed to the group a new question. Basically, was what was it? It was like our version of Ask Me Anything. Damon, is what you were kind of doing, right?
Yeah, sure.
You call it that? Okay.
Yeah.
So we got some questions on here. I got quite a few, and I don't know who wants to read this first one, but Trevor, you want to read?
Sure. And I will qualify that so you posted those on Tuesday, Damon, and I needed a break from work, so I went and I answered some of these. I replied back to some of them in the chat. So some of you may already know the answers to these, but we'll go through them anyway. So.
It's okay. I almost answered them too. I didn't realize it was for the show either.
Well, yeah, like I said, I appreciated the break, and it was nice to think about.
I mean, just so that there's no, throwback on me. It specifically said in the show.
It did.
I mean,
just
to make sure it wasn't on me. Sometimes I'm apt to miss things.
No. I obviously both Trevor and I missed that part of the post. We just read the beginning and didn't read the rest of it. So
I was just happy to start answering the questions. So, so the first one was from Alex. It said, "What's your first memory of a visit to Disney and your first memory of something Disney related?" So I answered this already, which is seeing the Matterhorn, walking to the park entrance to Disneyland is something I remember from when I was a kid, and that's stuck with me my entire life.
Yeah, I think for me, my first one, I remember, it's very, little, very brief. I remember when I was a kid, being in Epcot, and being at, by the jumping water fountains over by the Imagination Pavilion. And I remember, being fascinated by those. And I think I've told this on the show before. There's a classic picture my parents have of me, where they took a picture of me in front of the jumping fountains, and one of them, shorted one of the, water jumps shorted the base a little bit and landed directly on me. And, I think, they have pictures of the aftermath of that, as, I think I was 3 or 4 at the time. So was not too pleased with getting doused with water. But I also remember being inside the land pavilion, and I remember the ceiling, oddly enough. I remember all the things that were on the hanging from the ceiling. And then I think my other one too, I think these were all the same trip. I remember watching the Main Street Electrical Parade, sitting on the curb, and I think I told you guys this before. I had a visor, it was very 80s. It was like a visor with like little LEDs. What?
The plastic visor. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a plastic visor, and it had little LEDs across the front of it, and it had a battery pack, and you turn it on and the little LEDs would blink, in sequence. I remember that distinctly. I had that visor forever. So
I actually didn't go until I think I was 10 or 11, I think. And it is interesting, I didn't go with my family. My aunt and uncle took me before they had kids. And that was our first time going, just because I don't think my parents at that point were probably able to take us. So, but it's so funny, my memory of it. And I think a lot of it, especially when you're younger, a lot of it has to do with what pictures come out of it versus, to kind of stir that memory in general versus what I truly remember. But the only thing that I really remember about that trip, which is so appropriate, is River Country, because that's where we went. I mean, we went obviously to the parks as well, but I don't remember anything about the parks, but I can vividly remember River Country and climbing on the ropes across the lake and things like that, and the water slides. That's probably what I remember as my first Disney trip, which again, I don't really remember the parks from there. I just remember River Country, which is appropriate, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It is appropriate. So that question, did we say that one was from Alex?
Yes.
All right. So the next one we had is from Kristen. If you had to pick a land in any of the 4 parks to spend a night at, where would it be and why? Tough question.
Easy for me.
Oh, you okay? Go ahead.
Yeah, Adventureland all day. I love the tiki.
Wait, is it
room.
just lands like in Magic Kingdom we're talking about?
No, she said in any of the 4 parks. So
Okay.
yeah, it can be anywhere in Epcot or.
Is the World Showcase though like considered a land? Could you say
No,
World
I think
Showcase?
you got to pick a country.
Yeah, you'd have to pick a pavilion, I think,
Okay.
for that one.
Go ahead, Trevor. Sorry.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, Adventureland, because I mean, yeah, it's just I love that. I love that jungle theme and everything because it's so far removed from.
It might Jumanji me a little bit too much though.
I'm okay with that. I like Jumanji.
No, I like Jumanji, but it might be a little scary. It might
I
be
freaked
Jumanji.
out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I deal with it. What about you, Tom?
I think oh man, it's a tough one for me. I think I'm gonna go with Pandora. I'm gonna go with the obvious one. I feel like it's it's gorgeous at night.
That's the obvious one.
I think so. Yeah. Well, they did a literal camping trip there. Remember they gave away a camping trip in Pandora.
I guess I still I don't know. That's still not where I would want to spend a night.
I just think it'd be cool. It's just pretty, and there's all those cool noises going on.
For me, it would be Star Wars.
Yeah, that was my second.
Galaxy's
Yeah.
Edge, I think.
Yeah.
Because it would be so not packed. And I feel like the way that they've done that part of the park, you feel like you're really there, but the way to make you feel like you're really, really there would be to have nobody there. You kind of know what I mean? Like that would really make it feel.
Yeah,
Do you
Cause you can't really see much out of it. Like I feel like even at
Yeah.
Pandora, like I can kind of see the rest of the park, but I think that would be
That's fair.
interesting.
Good. Do you want like the occasional stormtrooper walking around, like patrolling and like coming over and like harassing you?
I
Or
don't
do
think
you
that
want,
even matters. It would be like kind of a ghost town, a Star Wars ghost town. Like I'd be okay with that.
and something to think about is, Star Wars Land has been so busy that you haven't really had a chance to hear like the ambient noise
Sure, yeah.
of the area, right? So
Yeah. I think that was a big criticism of the Disneyland version is that that they had the ambient noise like turned down too low so nobody could hear it. So, yeah, that's interesting. Star Wars probably would have been my second one, and I mean, I might even say Toy Story, but
I think Toy Story would be kind of fun too.
yeah, that'd be fun. All right, so this question is for you two, so I'm gonna back away from this one.
you're gonna make us read it too? All right.
Well, yeah, because it's not my question; it's addressed to you two.
All right, I'll go on this one.
Okay.
So Tanya asks for me and Damon, since you have older kids, does it get any easier? I have a 4 and a 1-year-old girls, and it's such a drain to do anything, including Disney. I'm longing for a day when we can go on vacation and actually enjoy it, especially a Disney vacation. I feel like it's just a whole bunch of managing toddler, baby hunger, tired, cranky cues. I get you, Tanya. The first time I took my son, he was 4, so I know that age, and yes, it does get easier because eventually you get to a point where they're old enough that you don't have to manage them quite as much, and they can actually start carrying the bag for you.
Oh, that's nice.
You have one. I'm not going to say that it gets easier. It
Well-
gets harder in a different way. Having 2 girls might make it a little bit easier. And again, so my boys, when they get along, it's nice, right? And it's easy. They go and do their own things. They'll go to we actually let them go in the parks themselves a little bit now. But the other thing is when they come back, they'll go to the gym and they'll work out, do things like that. I mean, we have a daughter as well, and she just kind of lays around with us, but I don't think it gets easier. It just gets a different way harder because again, then now you're going to let them go out and kind of do their own thing, right? Which is, it's got a little bit of stress attached to it in general. And then, when they fight, it's not like a 4-year-old fighting. It's more of a problem. Heaven forbid, 2 girls get into a fight about someone wore the other one's shirt that day or something like that. It turns into its own different ball game. I think you get a little bit more rest in terms of physical rest, but I think the mental part of it is still, again, they have a voice now. So now they're going to kind of say what they want to do and what they don't want to do and where they want to eat and where they don't want to eat. There's a lot more of, their personality involved in your trip. And again, my kids all enjoy it, but there are families where you have kids that just don't like it, right? And the parents like Disney and the kids don't. right? You can say that your kids are all going to love Disney. That's not the case. So, I guess it just becomes harder in a different way. I mean, Trevor, like I said, has it a little bit easier with one, I think. Right? He
right.
can't cause trouble, but except by himself. He can't team up on you with three of them.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't get mobbed in that way, but I mean, yeah, it's not always that we're seeing eye to eye, and there's definitely fights and stuff. I guess I think back to when I was a kid. My parents took three of us, and yeah, you're right. Kids will want to go in different directions, and
that brings its own stress. I think that growing up, years and years ago, I think there was a little less stress of letting your kids do stuff in general. That's the way I feel. That's just my opinion. So I think letting them go off and do things at the parks, like I said, brings a different kind of stress. And I think it costs more money. Well, I don't know. Does it cost more money? Might cost more money, right? I mean, she has a 1-year-old, she said. Well, you're going to have more money, right? Which always adds more stress to it as well. Yeah. When we had to start paying for my third child, I mean, it becomes pricey after a while.
And when they start eating more food than you do, yeah.
Oh, well, just the ticket. You go from not having to buy a ticket to having to buy a ticket. That's a big jump. That's the big jump one.
It's going to be my next trip.
Yeah. And then when you start have to buying them adult tickets, and that's the other thing, right? That's what we started to have now.
Yeah.
I got 1 year at Disney World of not buying adult tickets. So we got the child tickets at Disneyland, but yeah, by the time my son we took it when he was 9, so I did for 1 year, and then it was like, yeah, every time after that, it's like, oh, I'm paying for an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is tough. I mean, I'm just dreading paying even for a kid, next year. So it's not going to be fun because she was free before and now she's not going to be. All right. So Carrie asks, when did each of you and your wives visit Disney together for the first time? I mean, I guess I can go first here since you guys just did a bunch of talking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember if this is going to sound terrible. I can't remember if my wife and I visited before we got engaged there or the first time we went together was when we got engaged there. I don't remember. I think the first time we went together was when we got engaged there. So that was our first trip.
Tell you if you're wrong. Don't worry.
I mean, she's in the other room. I could probably just yell over it and see if she remembers. But no, I don't think we did a trip before that. So probably not.
We did a trip before we were married. I mean,
so you guys did your first trip before you were married?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Trevor?
I did my first trip when we were 18, and
wow.
Yeah, she actually came, or my parents invited her and my sister's boyfriend at the time to come with us to Disneyland. And so it was actually my wife's first trip ever because she had never been to Disney. It was actually my wife's first trip ever because she had never been to Disney. But we got to do our first trip together, and it was her first trip ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. So Ashley also asked the question about the wives. So how did you all meet your wives, and were you both Disney fans, or did one introduce Disney to the other?
So
I answered first last time. You can go first, Trevor.
Yeah, I'll go first. So I actually met my wife in high school. We were in, or I came into her friends group and met her, and then we started dating. And then, yeah, obviously I introduced her to Disney because she had been a Disney fan, but she had never been to any of the parks before. So I had introduced her to that side of it.
Yeah, and for me, I had met my wife when she was in college. I wasn't in college at that point, but I was still living in the college town from where I graduated, and she was friends with my roommate, and so we kind of met that way. And then she was definitely a big Disney fan as well, but definitely not like as much of a fan of the parks. Not that she wasn't a fan. She just didn't she went, a couple times when she was a kid. She wasn't like at the level of obsessed we are now. So I'd probably say that I pushed her more towards that, than she was in the first place. So what about you, Damon?
I met my wife through one of my really good friends. They worked together. And what was the other part of the question?
Did she get you into Disney, or did you get her to go into Disney? Or
I mean, I guess I probably got her into going to Disney. It was just, like I said, we don't travel out of the country, so it was just something else to do. I mean, we're amusement park people in general. So going to amusement parks, I mean, what bigger amusement park is there? So I don't necessarily know if it was one or the other. I mean, I guess maybe I lean that way a little bit more just because of Disney cartoons. So I'd be more apt to kind of want to go. But I mean, I think it was, it's not like either one of us was dragging the other one there. Let's put it that way.
So it's kind of a mutual.
Yeah,
mutual
I guess.
thing.
I guess.
All right. So we got this last question here from Michelle. If you had to work anywhere at Disney World, where would you work? Which park ride character specific job would you want and why? This is a tough question because I feel like I have several answers to this. I've probably got like 3 or 4. So I'm going to give them all. I'm not just going to pick one. A train engineer, a monorail driver, or a Jungle Cruise skipper. Those are my 3.
Okay. So I guess the way that I look at it is right now I wouldn't want to do a Disney job, but if I was going to be retiring and I wanted a part-time job of some sort, or how, I don't know if that's how that
pretend
would
like you're retired and you just want to, get a job, whatever your dream job at Disney.
I honestly would want to I would either want to work like a greeter at one of the hotels, or the ticket, the people at the front gates. Like I think that would be nice because you get to you get to see everybody coming in at their happiest and leaving at their most exhausted, but you don't have to deal with the in between.
That makes sense. I've seen those people get yelled at though too. I mean, I've seen some.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a role you could do that you wouldn't get yelled at some point. That's at least customer facing. So
well, see, that's why you got to be the monorail driver or the train engineer. No one talks to those people. So
yeah, that's a fair point.
All jobs at Disney are too hard. I wouldn't want any of them, especially if I'm retired. If I'm retired, I'm just going. I'm not doing work. Sorry.
See, my wife and I always
hard,
say that,
man. I mean, it sounds cool to be a bus driver, but that's hard work, right? If I'm retired, I'm retired, man. I'm not trying to catch up extra work. Sorry. I mean, if I'm not retired and I have to work, are you forcing me to work there? Because then it becomes a different answer. If you're forcing me to work there versus wanting to work there.
Well, it could be like right now, like if there was any job that you think would be fun,
It would be in the back office. It wouldn't be in the parks at all. I'd work like IT for Disney, but it wouldn't be in the parks.
Yeah, I feel like this is, I would love to be like an Imagineer if I had the skills to do it, but that's not in the park. Yeah, that's not in the park.
That's a lot of work. Sorry, I don't want that's too much work. The problem with I think working at Disney and at least in the parks is a little bit of the magic is ruined. I would think.
Oh sure, yeah.
And maybe for me it would feel that way. I don't know about everybody. So I wouldn't even want a job there.
I get that. I mean, we've done the tours before backstage where, it ruins the magic a little bit for yourself. When you see the second that you get past this fence, it's not decorated anymore. And it's just warehouse buildings. And, when you've seen the backside of Splash Mountain and you see that it's a bunch of metal and it doesn't look anything like the facade of it. It ruins the magic a little bit, but, seeing the Utilidors underground, that didn't really ruin much for me because it wasn't something that I would even think that I would see normally, or even think about when I'm in the parks. I just, it's
because it's another land. It's not you're not ruining an existing land. It's detached from everything else, even though it's underneath everything else.
I really wanted to wander around down there, but they only take you so far.
Yeah,
they only let you walk a couple steps in down there.
I could never imagine a tour. They're just go wander. You'll be fine.
It'd be amazing. I wanted to hop on one of the golf carts they had down there and drive to the path under the castle. That's what I wanted to do, but wouldn't let me do it. I also, when I did the train tour, I they had us go up into the front of the train and check out all the stuff in the train, and the train was running, and I had asked them if I could toot the whistle, to pull it, and they said no. And I was like, come on, what kind of tour is this?
Really?
Let me make the whistle go. I want to do it.
They didn't let you do the whistle.
They wouldn't let me do it. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Come on.
Okay, so I've done the whistle.
What?
Yeah.
When did you get to do that?
In Disneyland, when they closed down the tracks they had to redo the track for Star Wars Land.
Okay.
They had the trains parked at New Orleans Square, and you could go and you could tour them, and they had the engineers there and everything, and they would let you pull the whistle.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe my tour guide was just being a jerk and didn't want to let me pull it. I mean, it was right there too. I mean, what was he going to do if I just pulled it? I mean, he wasn't going to kick me out, right? It was like
Famous last words right there.
should just done it. Got banned from Disney forever.
Right.
All right. We don't even need to talk about this next thing. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah. The Joffrey's coffee tumbler.
No, that they made their own. There's a Riviera blend of Joffrey's coffee now. Like,
Okay.
why? What does that even mean? I'm not a coffee person.
I mean,
I don't drink coffee.
I guess I don't know what defines a Mediterranean flavor for coffee.
Me either. That's what I don't understand about this. I mean, listen, the tumbler looks pretty cool. I'll take the tumbler.
I don't think it does.
You don't like it?
No, it's. I mean,
I like it. I think it's a good looking tumbler.
I have a Star Wars tumbler, and I like my Star Wars tumbler way better than this.
If it did say Joffrey's on the back, I'd be better with it. Like, because I like the Riviera logo by itself. I'm not a fan of the Joffrey's part of it. I like the Riviera logo though. The Joffrey's part, not so much. But I really do want to know, like, what makes it. What makes it Riviera flavored coffee? Maybe it's just because I don't know anything about coffee.
Yeah, maybe for any aficionados out there, if you can explain to us what is attractive about this particular blend, if you happen to know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that'd be a good question. I mean, I've never, I've heard some people really like Joffrey's. I've never had it, but again, because I don't drink coffee. But
yeah, same. I stopped drinking coffee, so it's not of much interest to me.
Yeah, so I just thought this was kind of funny that they made a specific blend just for Riviera. But I guess it makes sense. They have some blends for some other places too. So
yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do our ad. I feel like it was perfect timing right here to go ahead and do the ad. And this is for DVC Rental Store. This is our friends over at DVC Rental Store. Are you a frequent Disney visitor and want to save hundreds, even thousands on your next Disney trip? The DVC Rental Store wants to help you book your dream vacation for less. Currently, the DVC Rental Store has a great selection of confirmed reservations at many of Disney's most premium resorts, saving you over 60% off retail rates. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 1-855-382-7368. Of course, let them know that Welcome Home sent you. That's very important that you let them know that you heard of them from Welcome Home. Again, that's dvcrentalstore.com or 1-855-DVC-RENT. If you're a DVC member, if you're not a DVC member, it's a great way to stay at the premium resorts, much cheaper than you normally would. Or if you're a DVC member, you need to rent out some points, or before they expire, go ahead and check out DVC Rental Store. They'll help you rent your points out and make sure that you use those funds for whatever you need them for. So check them out. Let's talk about Halloween, guys.
Okay.
It's still August, right? Just double checking.
Listen, Halloween. We all know Halloween starts in August at Disney.
Yeah, and what's coming up that they're really, it is the next holiday.
It is, yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, maybe for you, but Thanksgiving is first for me.
Yeah, so I could see how that you have to get into Thanksgiving, but
Yeah.
you understand this is a U.S.-centric thing, right, Trevor?
Really?
when you have a Walt Disney in Canada, we'll definitely be able to talk about Thanksgiving.
They keep talking about Toronto. Someday we'll get it in Toronto.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised they've never gone for that. But I guess it's because it's such a close, for and not that it's all that close for you to get here, but it's not, across the world, right?
I think it's more to do with the seasonal changes here than anything.
That makes it tough,
because you can't keep a park open all year round unless it's indoor.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I didn't put the all the details of what they're going to have in our outline here, but I did put some links for you to click on so to check these out. But basically, so some of the food and things are starting to come. Now this is starting September 8th, so another week still. So technically, Trevor, not starting off for another week.
Okay.
When we get to the food, give me a nudge.
Let's talk. I mean, we could talk about the food now. I mean,
Well, I'm going through the whole list.
Let's do it then. Let's do it. Let's go through the list.
You got to go to the Disney Parks blog though to get a better list. The list that you had it was too hard.
Okay.
So let's talk Magic Kingdom. So all right, we got the Mickey Cinnamon Roll, Cinnamon Donuts, Hades Nachos, Constance's for better or for worse wedding cake. I'm going to stop kind of where they naturally took a break because I have to talk a lot about food. So this is going to be long, everybody. Sorry. Cinnamon
the cake
roll
looks awesome. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, the cake looks really nice. I think the decoration on it. I would also do the cinnamon roll, which I actually am not a huge cinnamon roll, but it fan, but it looks good. But here's the thing, I'm definitely in on these Hades nachos. I like nachos.
Black bean nacho chips with fiery buffalo chicken, lettuce, tomato, sour cream, salsa, and jalapeno.
Ooh,
but I'm going to say, let's go in these little chunks of 4 or 5 that they've done. I'm going to say the winner out of that, though, is definitely the wedding cake. It looks pretty cool. Citrus cake with raspberry, Bavarian cream, whipped cream flowers, and a chocolate axe. I think the chocolate axe is pretty cool. And I like the fact that we're going with this whipped cream flowers, so we're not so heavy here.
Oh, that's cool.
That would be the winner for me. And then I would say, Hades Nachos is the number 2 of that little break.
What about the Hitchhiking Ghost novelty container they have for the cinnamon donuts? That looks pretty cool.
Well, first of all, we're not there yet.
Oh, it's right there. It's the cinnamon donuts.
The cinnamon donut, yeah.
Yeah.
Mickey's. Well,
number 2.
Where are you looking though? You're not looking in the same. Are you looking at the Disney Parks blog?
Yeah, it's the picture directly to the right of the cinnamon roll. It's the
you want to talk about? Oh, yeah. I think containers are dumb because the thing is, what am I doing with it after? Right? I'm
that's true.
Spending this money, and I know some people collect them, but they're pieces of plastic. Like I'm sorry, people that collect containers, and I'm a big collector, so it's not about collecting. It's just that there's food in there. Like, I got to get it clean. Like,
I was going to say, you wouldn't want one without the food in it. Just give me the container. Don't put the food in it.
I mean, I know you can do that too, but I still don't think I would do anything with these. Like, what am I doing with them? Like, even the plastic Figment has a little bit of a higher quality level of, I don't know. I just don't know what I would do with it after the fact. So why do I want to pay more when really it's about the food for me? I mean, it's cool, but it's an extra thing. So
no, I kind of feel the same way because there's a lot of things that I could buy. Like, it's the reason I don't buy a lightsaber, right? I would buy a lightsaber and it would be cool for 10 minutes and they'd be like, okay, now what do I do with this? Now this is the thing I got to find a place for, I
would put a lightsaber on my wall. I think once I get my media room done, I could see that. Now, how did the lightsabers turn on? Like, if you could give me a lightsaber that turned on via HDMI ARC, I'm in. Someone do that. Someone do that. I don't know if there's HDMI ARC plugs. I have to look into that. But if I could have something, if I could have something where I could, again, because I can turn on my TV, the LEDs in the back of the TV come on, my receiver comes on, right, with one control, that's great. But if you're telling me I got to turn it on and off separately, nah. But there's a lot of food to talk about. So, all right, here's the next set: pumpkin spice waffle sundae, Poor Unfortunate Souls float, pumpkin spice milkshake, and pumpkin spice soft serve sundae. Here's the thing. Normally, I am not a cream cheese sugar person. I don't like it. My cream cheese is on bagels and it should be savory. But the Poor Unfortunate Souls float, which is cream cheese soft serve, black raspberry syrup, and Coke, I would have to try because it's so different. The pumpkin spice stuff, I'm not a huge pumpkin spice fan, but none of those, I mean, they look delicious and I would definitely try them, but they don't look like anything different. The Poor Unfortunate Souls float, though, is definitely different.
The Coke ruins it for me, though.
Why?
Coke fan?
I don't like Coke. If it was like a Sprite or something like that, Coke is a little too,
So Coke, again, which is my favorite of the colas, Coke does have this sort of, it can hit your stomach a little acidy.
Yeah.
I feel like. Is that where your problem is here?
Yeah, I mean, it honestly,
I like the
it hurts my
harshness
teeth.
of Coke.
It hurts my teeth more than anything.
Oh, I like the harshness of Coke though, but I could see where that is. So that would be my one there. The rest, again, I'm not a huge pumpkin spice fan, so I could, give or take them.
I don't.
But
do
man, this
spice.
next one. Oh, sorry, Tom. Was there?
Yeah,
was
no,
there-
I don't do pumpkin spice. So,
Okay, so-
I'm out on most of these, but you're right. If I had to pick from that four, the Poor Unfortunate Souls looks the coolest and looks probably the most interesting to me.
Yeah, and I would definitely eat stuff like that I might not necessarily love because of the cream cheese soft serve, but to say you've had cream cheese soft serve is interesting of itself. Now, This next little list is very interesting. So the Mickey Monster Mash Burger, the Headless Horseman Rides Again, the Not So Poison Apple Cupcake, the Orange and Black Sugar Churros, and the Oogie Boogie Diced Novelty Glow Cubes, which are what's in them? I don't necessarily know.
They're just
glow
plastic
cubes.
glow cubes.
All right, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
So, all right, so here's the thing. I'm stuck here because this is interesting. This I don't like burgers, right? So I don't eat beef, so that would be tough. But the burger still seems very interesting. Monster cheese, potato barrels, bacon, and sriracha aioli. I'd almost want a bite of that. The Headless Horseman Rides Again. So this is a strawberry Dole Whip with Fanta strawberry and Headless Horseman novelty straw. This is too sweet for me. Like I feel like that's going to be too sweet, but I'll try it. Like
I'm down for that.
I love strawberries.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
Yeah, but it's definitely too sweet. And the Not So Poison Apple Cupcake is probably where I'm going to go here. So a spiced apple cupcake with pecan crunch buttercream themed after a poison apple.
Yeah.
It would be between that. I mean, the churros seem like they're just different color sugar, honestly, right?
They don't even have a picture of them on here, do they?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the thing is black. Anything black too, just
I don't have a problem with that. It doesn't seem adventurous enough.
you just know it's just a ton of dye and there's no flavor. That's my point.
Yeah.
Is that
Different flavor, yeah.
anytime they do the black stuff, it's like, oh, it's colored black, but it never ends up being anything interesting to eat.
No. So, I mean, the Dole Whip sounds good, but this seems like, man, I would want a sip of it, maybe a couple, but I don't know about a whole one. That would be a little too much.
See, I had the Kakamora float, and I feel like it would be on the same level as that. And it would
Okay.
That float was really good. And yeah, I get what you're saying. Is it's a lot of sweet stuff going on, but
Yep.
this is like a one time. I would go out of my way to get this at least just one time.
Yeah.
And I would split it. So for me, it would be easy to split among the family. So that's always a good thing. We're a bunch of sugar and savory people. So the rest of the
Sorry,
Go
I
ahead,
was
Tom.
going
I'm
to say
sorry. Go
about the
ahead.
burger. If that were like a turkey burger, I don't eat red meat either. So
Yeah.
if that were like a turkey burger, the rest of the things on that
Sounds
look
awesome.
Yeah,
And it doesn't even say. And the thing is, it's not even like anything crazy, right? Monster cheese, right? So what, right? Bacon, okay, but
Potato
it just all
barrels.
together. It seems potato barrels is definitely better than tater tots, right? It just sounds better.
it does. Even though they're just tater tots.
But I definitely could be on that if there was some sort of turkey burger as well, Tom, for sure. So the rest of the stuff that we have here is just a bunch of the sippers and popcorn buckets, which you can see the pictures of. There's some cool ones.
Oh, there's
but
some
again,
desserts further down too.
Well, this is Magic Kingdom. We haven't even gotten to Epcot yet. Where do you see more desserts?
You're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Okay, that's okay.
You're right. My bad.
So, yep. So, I mean, you can definitely look at them. There are some cool ones there. So
we talk
now-
about the Madame Leota sipper though. That one's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can. It's just again, it's neat looking, and I would say maybe that one would be something you could display. It
Yeah,
looks the
that
most
was
displayable of all of them. I would
Although
say.
the Hitchhiking Ghost popcorn bucket, it looks cool too, but I seriously don't understand how it functions as a popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like there's any space for popcorn.
Maybe it's in the bodies, but the problem with that is that you look at the guy all the way to the right. Again, I don't know the
There's
traveler's
like
name.
four kernels there.
Yeah, he just looks like he's just not detailed enough.
The other two, they're pretty detailed though.
So,
Yes.
Ezra, Phineas, and I can't remember the third one's name. Someone's going to shoot.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
blanking
know
on them
this.
too. Somebody will tell us, but I can't remember their names. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so we're moving on to Epcot. Now,
right,
again, Epcot is a one-shot thing. Unfortunately, I'm just going by how the Parks blog kind of laid them out. So we have the Halloween cupcakes, the Nemo and Squirt's Noggin concoction. I'm going to skip. Oh, wait, that's not a drink. Okay, so that one's up there as well. The Halloween sugar cookie, the liquid nitro cake pop, and then we have a bunch of popcorn buckets again. So, this one is tough. I got to go with the Noggin concoction, which is a chocolate brownie It's a brokey. So it's a chocolate brownie stuffed with a chocolate chip cookie topped with a white chocolate covered pretzel
Ooh.
and a Mickey pumpkin garnish.
That sounds good.
That sounds really good. The liquid nitro cake pop also sounds good, but I would say that if I'm going on this one, I'm going to have to go with that Nemo and Squirt's Noggin concoction.
Yeah, I might have to agree with you there. Although the cake pop does sound pretty appealing. I wish they had a picture of it because I think that would help. But you're right. I'm a big Brookie fan. I'm all about that. Talk about a chocolate covered pretzel on there for sure.
Yeah,
I'm down. I'm down for that. Definitely.
It reminds me of turducken. Where
Turducken.
it's like a turkey stuffed inside, or a duck inside of a chicken inside of a turkey.
You haven't done brokies then?
No.
Brokies, brownies and cookie together?
Nope, never had it. I mean, it sounds good. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can do them with like sugar cookies too, which is also very good. You can kind of cuts down a little bit of the chocolate. I've done them that way as well.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know if there's anything else to discuss there, but we move on to Animal Kingdom, which is very interesting.
Some cool ones here.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only one thing, and then the rest are drinks. But so we have the Scar cupcake, and then we have some non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages. I can't even deal with drinks right now. We can only focus on food here. So we're all going to have to pick the Scar cupcake, but that's okay because it's a red velvet cupcake with toasted marshmallow filling, chocolate marshmallow frosting, chocolate pebbles, white chocolate flames, and an edible icing image. Now, I take the edible icing image, I take the top of that cupcake off and throw it away. Right, because that's
you wouldn't eat it?
No, that's just yuck. Like that's just wasted sugar for no reason. I mean, it's not even the white chocolate flames maybe I'm eating. The edible icing image is gone though. That's just a waste.
It's like paper basically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to eat the chocolate. The cupcake itself seems very good though.
Yeah, just the whole sound of that one sounds really good. It just the chocolate pebbles and the toasted marshmallow, and it looks cool too. It looks cool.
I think the chocolate pebbles with that texture would be nice as well. The problem is that's you know what this looks like though. This looks like a 1-bite cupcake. So you take the top off, right? You go 1 bite, and it's a little too much than 1 bite, but it's so satisfying. I'm sure that would be a 1-bite cupcake.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, there's some popcorn buckets there as well, which you can see. Now, the Hollywood Studios one, I think I'm really going to have a problem. So we have a poison candied apple.
This is my favorite one so far.
Right. So an apple and caramel mousse covered in red glaze with a crunchy candy base. And the pumpkin cheesecake cannoli is not for me, which is, I get that's probably killer for some people. And the pumpkin tiramisu, also not for me. But the box of bones chocolate eclair with dark chocolate mousse and white chocolate bones. I have a tough time between the poison candied apple and the box of chocolate eclairs. I'm definitely, I'd have to get both of them. I don't think I can make a choice there.
See, I'm not even really into pumpkin, but the pumpkin, I can never turn down a cannoli, and a pumpkin cannoli with hazelnut praline crunch sounds amazing to me. And then pumpkin tiramisu, again, not a big tiramisu fan, but it looks really good. I want all of these.
Yeah, I could avoid those two, but I mean, again, if you're going to ask me, do I want a bite if someone else has it? Yeah, I'd probably take a bite, but I don't know if I'd order them. The box of bones chocolate eclair, the only problem I have with this is that I'm not a huge dark chocolate fan in general. Again, I'm more of a milk chocolate. So I'd have to figure out if what we have here is still, again, most of the time I'm complaining about it being too sweet. I'd have to see how that dark chocolate mousse sits. Sometimes I don't love it when it's not, it's funny. The Sam's Club has like a French sliced chocolate cake or whatever. And I don't know. It's not good. I'd have to really deal with the chocolate there, but I would try it. I would definitely try it.
Yeah, I think my number one there is probably the poison candy apple. That just looks super.
I do love me apple and caramel. There's no doubt about that.
And
what do you think of Trevor? Sorry,
I know you two are just going on about these things that I know you don't want to look at the drink statement, but that frozen apple cider, I mean, that's where my head is. Yeah. I love apple cider, and that seems
what the problem I have with that, and I would say that I do also love apple cider. It's just, is it going to be cost effective for me? And I just don't think so. I can get good apple cider pretty much wherever I want. And to stick it in the freezer to slush it up seems like it's pretty easy to do. I know I'm not making a box of Bones chocolate eclair. Like, I know I'm not making that at home. So that would be the only difference that I would see. I would definitely drink that as well, but I don't know if I'd drink it at Disney because I'm sure that price tag is not what I would be expecting.
It's probably at least $6.
Probably,
right? Like, at least. Yeah. And then the alcoholic version's probably like at least 12.
It's got Crown Royale in it though, so
That's true. Yeah, it's got some Crown in it. Yeah. And it's got the light up ice cube in there too. The glow cube.
yeah.
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
have so many of those cubes that we collected them for a little while, and it got to a point where it was like, okay, these are dumb.
It's too many.
Yeah.
That's funny. What do you think of those desserts up there though, Trevor? Which one
Well,
of yours?
I mean, I think the apple is probably where I would start. Again, I get what you're saying about the dark chocolate, Damon, is, I feel
Yeah, it's tough sometimes. It can go either way.
it really depends on what percentage they use. If it's too far
cocoa.
it's too far cocoa, it just gets bitter.
Bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
So,
agree with you there.
I feel that the candy apple is a little bit more of a guaranteed thing because you kind of know what you're getting,
Yes.
right?
But you know, the problem is that the eclair bones thing could be phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I'd almost have to try it. But I could, again, like I said, like yourself, I could see it being a little too bitter for me. But I know that my wife would be okay with that. So again, I don't think it would be a lost cause.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense. So we talked through all the food. We should probably talk through just kind of the festivities. Now, Mickey's Not So Scary is canceled. I think everybody knows that, right? Mm-hmm. But they are doing kind of like a pared down Halloween celebration, which is cool. So they're actually going to allow people to wear costumes to the parks, which they have not allowed before outside of Mickey's Not So Scary.
Yeah,
so
I think that's cool.
That's pretty awesome.
And I guess the thing for people to keep in mind with this is the same rules of Not So Scary still applies here. Like you can't get offensive with the costumes. You can't get I think that there's rules around masks and stuff like that as well still. So
So look into that if you're gonna take a trip and dress up. Make sure you know what the rules are.
Here's the question though: does our 100th episode we might be able to do? Let's see. Can we do the math on that? We're at 91. It's not going to work for Halloween, is it?
Yeah, it's going to be right around Halloween.
Yeah.
So there's 92. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so though, is it? 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So that's I think what we'll have to do.
Yeah. We'll have to do we'll do maybe live
live
costume
video
thing
that
we're gonna do. Yeah.
Welcome Home's kind of not really scary Halloween episode.
That's a great idea. Not scary at all. Or Welcome Home's haunted river country 100th episode. I love it. Damon, are you going to appear on camera on that with just like a mask on, like a scary mask on of some sort?
I don't know. Maybe Jeffrey would be dressed up as Dipper. I mean, that's possible.
Okay, there's Jeffrey. Yeah, okay.
So you could do like the paper plate masks that you would make in school where you stuff to it.
I mean, unless Tom wants to get me that Grunkle Stan mask. Have you ever seen that one? The one that looks like
a real life,
like a rubber.
Yeah. It's like legit.
The problem with that though is your voice would be all muffled. It'd be hard to understand you.
I'd get a little what's it called, Mike?
Get a little lav mic and sneak it under there.
Yeah. Might be a bit echoey, but that's fine.
We should mention, by the way, back to the topic. This is starting September 15th and will go to October 31st. And so they're also going to do like a Halloween character, like cavalcade, like they're doing right now with the regular characters. But they're going to do a special Halloween themed one, which is I've heard those cavalcades are actually really cool. I've seen we've had several listeners that have gone to the parks since they've instituted those and have thought that they were really neat and wish they would continue doing them because apparently they've been pretty cool. So. So there's that, and then all the food we just talked about is going to be part of that too. So, and they are going to decorate. So I think we talked about that as being a rumor maybe a couple episodes ago. So they did confirm that they are going to decorate too. So I'm glad to see all this. I'm glad they're still doing a lot of their Halloween stuff.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they're keeping the whole spirit of the season there, and they're not letting the situation drive that. Like they didn't have to do any of this stuff. They could have just kept operating as usual. So I'm glad to see these kinds of things.
Me too. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time here, guys. We got a couple more topics here, just two more.
Yeah.
And this next one's a quick one, and this is sad. I'm really bummed about this. So the employees at the Void have been at Disney Springs have been notified that they are closing permanently. So the Void is no longer.
Permanently just means until they open again. That's the problem with that. Like I felt like I was clickbaited on those because it's not like they're closing and the whole store's going away. They're just closing because of the pandemic, which duh, right?
Well, they didn't say temporarily though. They said
it does not say permanently though.
It doesn't.
No, it says until they can reopen. If you go and click through the link. So again, you got.
But what if they
could
never reopen though?
Well, because why?
I don't know. I mean, it's not exactly like I don't want to say it's a unstable company, but I mean it's a small company. I don't know if they make it through.
It's definitely clickbait here.
The hard part is, I agree with Damon on this. Is that you look and go, well, everything else in Disney Springs is open, but the difference is the Void is very high contact. Like you're using VR headsets, and if they're not properly sanitizing, like it doesn't make sense for them to be open at all during this pandemic.
It says our terminals are remaining temporarily closed for everyone's safety and to support our local health officials and government leaders. We will continue to monitor the situation and update our travelers with our reopening plans as soon as possible. So again, clickbait. That's what that is.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's from the official Void website.
And I guess the other side of that too is, the news article said some of the employees were getting notified of termination. But again, that's kind of standard practice. When the company's not open, they're not going to keep paying you. So,
of course. So I think the permanently closed part of it is a little misleading, but yes, they're definitely closed.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair, David.
But Tom, again, at the end of the day, you may be right. A company still has to be able to operate, and if they have no other funds when reopening time comes, and
they may not be able to.
Gone. But I can't imagine that. Yeah, I just can't imagine that being the case. But anything is possible.
I would see them reopening. I mean, Disney's also an investor in that company too. I mean, they're part owner of that company. But. Yeah, I don't know. I would think that they would reopen at some point, and they just got to figure out how to do it safely and when they can actually make it work. So, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, the last thing we got on here, because I got rid of another topic since we talked a lot about food, which I'm all for. I'm glad we talked about food. So Disney's filed a patent for further use of drones to control show elements. So I don't know if you guys looked at the article.
Yeah,
on this.
It's interesting. I'm always worried about drones a little bit, I'll be honest with you. So as long as the drones aren't flying over my head per se, I'm okay. And it definitely should make some interesting effects that we weren't necessarily used to having before. That's for sure.
Well, I think I've seen when Disney has had plans for this, it's been far away from guests. Think about the
Star
it's not going to be
Wars
flying over your
drone,
head, I don't
right?
think. What's that, Trevor? Go ahead.
I said, think about the Star Wars Land drone, where the X-wing.
Yeah,
it was over the parking lot. Yeah.
The other problem with this too is just the fact that you want to talk about the weather really affecting things. Once you start throwing drones in the sky, maybe you're not necessarily always going to get them up there with a little bit of wind, a little bit of other things going on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, you have these as elements of the show and not like a crucial part of the show, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like you can't do it if you don't have the drones.
I would agree. I mean, it's always interesting. I think drones are going to be taking over a larger part of society in general. So it makes sense for Disney to integrate them into their shows and things like that.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Trevor.
I was going to say, I think the big difference too when it comes to these show elements is, when you look at fireworks and whatnot, fireworks are very momentary, and you're thinking about, they could stop fireworks partway through if something happened, but if a drone is up there, you have to figure out how to get that drone down safe.
If it goes rogue, if it's a rogue drone.
Yeah, if you suddenly lose connection, like how do you reestablish connection, or does the thing just, drop.
Somebody have to shoot it out of the sky.
Disney has a special security team that just takes out drones, just the rogue drones.
or they have to have like a self-destruct button so that they like now they're fireworks.
Yeah, now they're fireworks. That's the next patent. Turning drones into fireworks.
Yeah.
What I thought was interesting about this particular patent that they're talking about here. First of all, one of the images is a drone carrying what looks like a pirate ship, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
I'm just imagining like a pirate ship like flying behind the castle or something during like a Peter Pan part of the show. Like, how cool would that
How
be?
could it fly behind the castle? Isn't there people back there?
Well, I would think it would probably be further away, like where they shoot the fireworks from, but like large enough that you could see it, I guess.
Well, they closed the area immediately behind the castle during the fireworks. So
that's true, yeah.
I don't know if there'd be enough room there, but that would be interesting.
I would think that they would do it
though.
from near where they shoot the fireworks off, but which is not that far from the castle, actually. I mean, once you get behind Be Our Guest, it's like, it's cast member area only, right behind there, so it's not that far. But yeah, I just think that would be cool to have show elements like this. That would be really neat. But
what's this downwash thing? We have to talk about it quick though, so we stay under an hour.
Yeah, we're almost out of time here. So that's what this is specifically about. I guess one of the problems is the downwash, meaning like the air that comes off of the propellers can kind of screw up some of the elements. So Disney basically has done a patent here to fix that, or to use that downwash as part of the effect almost, it seems. Which is interesting. I tend to think that these things, I would love to see them have a drone show for the 50th anniversary next year.
There's an image that shows a bird-shaped object being released from the drone and then controlled using the downwash. That's cool. I didn't see that. I'll have to go look that up.
Yeah, very cool.
That's a lot of physics going on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I would love to see this. I'm hoping they do a unique show with these drones for the 50th. I think that would be really neat.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. We're out of time.
All right.
I gotta hurry up too. We're gonna run out.
Okay. All right. So anyone that, if you have any questions, comments, if you, just want to say hi or talk to us, you can always reach us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We always love hearing from you guys. If you're on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can check out our YouTube channel, which is also called Welcome Home Podcast. Or if you want to grab some merchandise, feel free to head over to store.welcomehomepodcast.com. Check out the mugs and t-shirts and stuff like that. And also on Facebook, if you want to get involved in our conversations and things that you hear us talk about on the show, make sure you join the Welcome Home Disney waitlist. It's our Facebook group and everyone's really cool over there. And we'd love to have more of you in there.
Yeah, please come check that out. And we sold our first mask, by the way.
Wonderful.
Somebody's out there wearing a Welcome Home mask, so that's cool. Maybe they're going to the parks with it. I don't know. If you're the one that bought it, please let us know. We'd love to know if you're going to plan to use it at the parks. So don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any place you can find podcasts. You can find us. Just a reminder to our listeners, as always, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, any and all things we say on the show, any and all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult your DVC representative for more information, or a Disney cast member for anything about that we talked about today. Big shout out to our sponsor at DVC Rental Store. I'm sorry, I almost said DVC Resale Market. Sorry.
That's okay. Tom will be re-recording that, so
yeah,
we're
I'll
gonna
be
save a few
fixing
seconds. But I want to make Dan happy though. I want to make sure that I mention my other podcast. Otherwise, Dan will think that maybe I'm not. So again, if you guys enjoy listening to me or don't, or just like Netflix, come over and listen to the Boomtron podcast, and please give us reviews. And like I said, once we get 100 people over there, I'll give away Welcome Home pins. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, you're gonna get there, right? So
yeah.
So thanks for doing that. And then a thank you, of course, to DVC Rental Store for sponsoring this episode. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found a sugar bowl.